Hi, I'm Yvette Hernandez.
And I'm Jorge Gonzalez, and you're watching American Hispanics, The Journey.
Where we empower our Hispanic community every week by bringing you great stories of real people telling their story and their journey to the American dream.
Real people, real stories, on real time.
That's right, George. Man, you were on assignment last week.
And I don't know what's wrong with you, but I do not want to do this again. Going on assignment without you is not the same.
It's not the same, right? We have some great topics for you guys today. We have a great story to tell you. We have a wonderful interview with Maritza Ramos. And of course, we've got some information to give you, a lot of information today. So let's start with, did you know? Did you know that the Hispanic community greets each other with hugs and kisses? Is that something that we do?
Every country has a different way to do it. And yes, Dominicans have a really particular way they do say good morning or goodbye or hello.
We actually have to greet everyone differently. But I mean, when we greet people, we actually greet with a hug and a kiss. But when we say to the elders, we have to say bendición mamá or bendición papá. But we don't say bendición. The Dominicans, we say sion. Sion mamá, sion papá.
And I go to Yvette's events and I'm looking at her and I'm going like, what happened with B-E-N?
I don't know. I think that we are the Ebonics of the Hispanic community or something.
But we go back to the places where, every sector or every country has a different approach.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You know, sometimes here in America, we tend to lose that a little bit because when you're in America, sometimes American people have this boundary, this space that you invade. And if you come...
The personal space?
They have a personal space. And if we come to hug them, they're like, hey, why are you trying to hug me? And I'm like, oh, no, that's how Hispanic people greet each other. We give each other a hug or, we give each other a
I
kiss.
tend to revolt back to that. I'm like, hello, how are you? And all of a sudden it's like, hi.
Yeah, why are you hugging me, dude, right? But you know what? Other cultures have the same issues. I mean, Italians give 2 kisses, 1, 2. The French give 2 kisses as well. And I believe you said the Germans do too, right?
German as well. I still kiss my dad.
You do?
Oh, yeah. We go in public and my dad, obviously, I go hug him, kiss him.
And kiss him.
I kiss my nephew, I
that's
kiss
sweet.
my kid, obviously my kids,
Right.
my uncles, and even my cousins.
Right. I know.
I
Forget
guess
about
I'm a
it.
kisser. Sorry.
When I go visit my cousins, it's like kissing and kissing and kissing. Oh, prima, ¿cómo está mi primo? And you know something? We call everybody else primo too. You know, if you
Confusing,
become from
Very
part of the
confusing.
family, the Dominican people start calling you, just to make you part of that family, we make you a cousin. you're
That's
now a
it.
cousin of the family. Tú eres un primo ahora. Okay, primo,
Especially when they're drinking. Hey, cuz, fill it up.
I introduced him to somebody new. My boyfriend, he became a primo all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, yeah, we went.
Remember?
That's true.
Like
We go to the restaurant. Hey, primo, come here. I'm like,
Primo, yeah. I said, you're a primo
Really?
now, but yeah, the family likes you.
oh, that's another indication. Oh, they like you. They call you primo.
Really, if they call you primo, they really like you.
That's right.
That's how it is. That's
Oh,
how
they
it
didn't
goes.
call me primo. I must not be liked.
They didn't call you primo. They just call you George. But they really do like you. We like that guy George.
Right. That guy, George. Really?
Oh, that guy George. Yeah.
The Puerto Rican guy, right?
Yeah, the Puerto Rican guy. No. Terrible. You're terrible. But yeah, no, that's fun. You know, it's funny how different cultures greet each other and how when we come to the United States of America, sometimes we lose a little bit of that.
The boundary is a lot more.
And it's harder to teach my kids that. I try to teach them. I said, mi hijo, venga, abracen a su abuela. And they're like,
Did you
oh,
notice
they don't like it.
Like the boundaries are a little bit tougher north, and then down here it's more hugging, more kissing, more.
Oh yeah, so that southern hospitality. You know, you gotta have that. I mean, they're more loving here. I think you are.
Yeah, I would say so. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, New York is not too bad. Right.
Right. Yeah, New York is like hi.
Yeah, they punch you. No, that's not true. Well, that's great. No, it's true. And then that's how the culture is. I hope that you guys don't lose your cultures. Let us know how you guys greet each other if you're from a different culture. I'm Dominican. He's from Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's other cultures that have different greetings. I think that we are all a lot alike when it comes to that, especially when we talk about Hispanics.
You also have other countries that are a little more macho like though. They don't like the hugging and the kiss because he's like, I'm a guy. Don't touch me.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We notice that. The older folks.
The older folks, sometimes, yes, that's true. All right, we're going to change topics now. We're going to talk about how important it is to stay educated and continue to go to school. We want to talk about high school dropouts, something I never thought about when I was in high school. I never thought about dropping out of school, and I never really experienced any of my friends dropping out of school. But looking at the topics now, looking at the situation now, there are not a lot of dropouts anymore, but there still are.
Well, there are certain cultures that either you're a dropout and they accept you as such, or you have the parents will go like, well, you don't have nothing to offer to my daughter,
Right.
especially when, all parents. And I grew up in the majority of the people were Italian.
Right.
And you know how it goes in Rhode Island. It's
have-
like, if you're a dropout, you better be connected.
Right. I mean, it almost becomes, if you're a high school dropout, you become kind of like, you're out. You're not in. You're not in that in crowd.
Correct.
And a lot of times that's what it is. So I urge the Hispanic community to keep going to school, keep your children in school. Don't let them get out of school so they can help you pay bills and stuff like that, because that's going to hinder them, not only in educationally, but also in in different cultures like that.
Absolutely. You have
But guys, we have a great interview coming up, and we're going to be taking a quick break. We'll see you in a few minutes.
We'll be right
You're
back.
watching American Hispanics: The Journey. You're watching American Hispanics: The Journey. We have a great interview coming right up, so please stay with us.
It's going to be a great interview. Don't change your channel. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Yvette Hernandez, and you're watching American Hispanics: The Journey. And we've got a great interview for you guys. I promised you I was going to have Maritza Ramos with me. Maritza, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me here today.
Welcome.
Thank you.
That was a nice welcome you got.
Welcome.
Maritza, we've got so many questions. Of course, our show is about Hispanics and how we want to empower our Hispanic community, telling our stories, telling real stories. And of course, we want to know your story. And where were you born?
I was born in Miami, Florida.
Were you?
Yes.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings.
And your parents?
My parents are both Dominican. Both of them came from the Dominican Republic.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Wonderful. And were they, did they have their papers, or were they illegal? Were they?
Both of my parents came in. My mother came in on a petition from her parents, and my father came in during the Revolutionary War in his country. Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was easier. The process was a little bit easier. Now that you practice immigration law, huh?
That is correct. The process was easier back then. Yes, it was.
Well, so I heard you had to help your parents do that, your father specifically, right?
My father, when I was the one that filed my father's naturalization.
Are you kidding me?
He must have been like 50-something when I did it.
How old are you?
I'm 41.
And that's how old you were when you did that for your
No,
father?
my father was like 50-something when I did it.
Oh, wow.
I want to say he was like 55 or something. He had been here since he was 15. And
But were you a young woman when you did that for him?
When I did that, I was probably in my 30s.
You see, I asked that question, I get slapped. She asked so naturally, how old are you?
I want to know how old you were when you did that for your father.
No, yeah, I was probably in my 30s when I did it. I was already living here in Georgia, practicing in Georgia.
That had to be one of those moments of like, oh my God, I can do this. I can actually get my father naturalized.
Right.
Well, it was good to be a part of it. It was such a blessing. It was funny because I don't think if I would have done it, I don't think he would never have done it.
Oh wow, that's
Oh,
cool.
right.
So,
Well, going back just a little bit, I know when you were growing up, you said that the barrier or the concerns for you were that both your parents had to work so much that you were coming home alone as a young child. And I think a lot of us did that as growing up. We had to come home alone. I think a lot of our audience can relate to that.
that's correct. That was the hardest part for us. Both of my parents, my father came, he wasn't able to finish middle school or high school. He had to just work when he came to this country. And my mother came, she was working, going to school. My mother was going to school still when I was done with school.
You know something, George? My parents had to work, and I had to come home and be like trying to be an adult. You have to grow up so fast. Sometimes in the Hispanic community, you have to grow up so fast because both your parents are working so hard to try and pay these bills.
You have also the best thing you can bring to somebody, which is no matter what, you can make it. Being an attorney and going through the process, it's just amazing.
Well, I would have to thank my mother for that. My mother was a big advocate about they can take away anything from you, but they can't take what you have in your mind.
That's right. They can't take away what you have in your mind. Your education, that's very important, and I'm glad you said that.
And she was just so powerful with bringing that home to
And
us.
it's cool to hear you talk about it because you can tell the passion is there. Like Mama was there, like getting it. Sorry.
Yes, that's right.
Installing that beautiful, schooling is, my wife is the same way with my kids, very strong, very determined to hear, you gotta go to school.
You gotta go to school. Guys, we have to keep going to school. We're gonna take a short break, and we're gonna get more of Maritza Ramos coming right up. See you in a few minutes. American Hispanics, The Journey, where we bring you weekly interviews of real people talking about their journey and their pursuit to the American dream.
If you have a story to tell, please go to our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter and tell us your story.
We're back with more of Maritza Ramos. This is Yvette Hernandez, and you guys are awesome, and you're watching American Hispanics, The Journey. Maritza, we've got so many questions to ask you. We want to empower our Hispanic community, and we want to ask you, how did you get into this immigration law type thing? Like, what did you do? How did you start your education?
Well, I got a bachelor's degree in criminology, and after I did that, I first wanted to go into investigations, criminal law enforcement.
Oh my goodness.
And throughout the field, throughout my experience and everything that I explored, I ended up just loving the knowledge for the law and the advocacy that I can help my community and be a big forefront in that. And that's when I decided to go to law school and studied law as well.
Awesome.
¿Qué tan difícil se te hace hacer tu trabajo en cuanto a cuando ves al hispano pasando por tanto dolor de cabeza y tanta regulación?
Es bueno que me preguntas eso. Ustedes no se imaginan el estrés que, especialmente hoy en día, con todos los cambios en la administración.
Ay, sí.
Es tan triste todos los días. A veces me lo llevo conmigo a la casa porque de verdad tengo muchos casos tristes para clientes míos que desafortunadamente están pasando por tiempos difíciles.
Oh my goodness, yeah, with this government now, it's getting tougher and tougher to do the immigration stuff.
It is getting tougher and tougher.
And you have yourself, your firm is here in Georgia, correct?
That's correct. I have my law office in McDonough, Georgia, and my primary focus is immigration. So I do a lot of community outreach in the community where I go to the churches and speak to individual families, Latino families. I also go to the schools and empower know your rights to the parents, teaching them how to do the educational system for their children.
Maritza, I love the fact that you do that for our people and that you're educating yourself. When you went to go to school, did you have to go and get did your parents pay for it? Did you go to school and apply for a grant or anything like that?
I actually had academic scholarships and that helped me with my degrees. And law school I paid for. I put
did?
Yes,
you
I
paid
learned.
for yourself?
Well, I still owe loans.
So you were a fighter when you were little, and then you were a nerd when you was little, so she was a smart fighter, and now she's a lawyer. That's how that works.
Figure that one.
And I had time for the extracurriculars. I was I did volleyball.
She did volleyball. Guy sports are
So
important.
she's a smart nerd that can kick your behind.
Did you do baseball? What did you do? I mean,
Volleyball, basketball, and softball.
My daughter did volleyball too.
I did volleyball, and people said that's not a sport. I said, come and play. Let's
Are
do
you
it.
kidding me? Come on, I know it is a sport. Definitely.
Yes, I love it. I still play volleyball.
Excellent,
All
I
right.
love it. I
I'll
love
take you out,
it.
boo.
So you did that in high school and in college, or just in college?
I did it in high school, and then I did intramural in college.
Excellent. So your loans, was it difficult for you to get those loans, or was it something that you?
It was a little bit difficult to get. I went to a private university for law school, so it was difficult to get some of the loans. St. Thomas University in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And
So
I went to Florida State for my undergrad.
Okay, great. So you did go finish your school in Florida.
I finished all my schooling, and then I got a master's in management.
Did you find it easy here in Georgia to find Hispanics?
Not when I first moved.
Okay,
It
I didn't
has
think
changed
so.
a lot. When I first moved to McDonough, it was really hard to see any Hispanics, and if they were Hispanic, they weren't speaking Spanish to you.
Oh man, are you kidding me?
Yes, but now I see that the community has grown, so I do see a lot of Hispanics, and I just try to go to the communities where I can, reach out and let them know knowledge is power, and get out there and represent the community. I'm a big mentor. I go to the high schools and talk to all the students that I can talk to.
So what type of advice would you give our Hispanic community today?
Today with today's climate, all the executive orders that are out there, I really encourage all our Hispanic community to know what the laws are and make sure they're not, driving if you can't drive. Right now, people are getting detained, arrested, driving without a driver's license.
Where can we find you, Maritza? We need you.
Yes.
Las personas hispanas te necesitan porque nosotros queremos saber mucho más de lo que tú haces.
Si tienen preguntas, me pueden llamar a mi oficina, 678-782-3990,
Oh,
678-782-3990, and sure, you can call my office and I will.
Please call Maritza Ramos. Maritza, thank you for
Una
coming.
última pregunta rapidito.
Oye.
¿Trabajas con DACA o estás
Oh, yeah,
trabajando?
that's right. That's right. forgot
I
to
did
ask you about
do DACA, but right now there's no more DACA. DACA's been
okay.
closed off.
that. Okay.
Sorry, Nina.
It's okay. All right, guys, thank you so much. And I'm so glad that we had you here on our show, Maritza. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
We'd love to have you back, though.
Yeah, I know. We need to have her back.
Thank you.
We'll be right back, guys. American Hispanics The Journey, where we bring you weekly interviews of real people talking about their journey and their pursuit to the American dream.
If you have a story to tell, please go to our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter and let us know your story. You never know. It just might be aired on the next show.
It's good to be back, guys. We're still watching American Hispanics The Journey. And oh, wow, guess what? Maritza Ramos is still here with us.
We kept her
We kept her here.
caged.
We're trying to keep our guests with us. I don't know what it is. But listen, we want to get our audience to get to know us a little better. So there's a segment that we're calling, Did You, well, that's not Did You Know, is it? No, that was our first segment.
Well, did you know that she didn't
Did you know that I didn't know? No, it's
Something
called
about you.
Getting to Know Me.
Getting to know
Getting
you.
to know me. And I'm going to tell you a little something about that you didn't know about me, unless you're someone that you're really close to me. Especially here in Georgia, not a lot of you know that I was the very first Miss Rhode Island. Hispanic Miss Rhode Island, that is.
Miss Rhode
The
Island,
very first Miss
Latina.
Rhode Island, because man, that would be.
And that was
I
what
would be
year?
very old, huh?
What year?
What?
What year?
What
you
year?
want
Oh, I don't want to say that. Didn't
What
you?
year was it?
You got me to say my age. huh?
Yeah, there you go. So,
Oh man,
So,
they're ganging up
what year?
on me. They're
What year?
ganging up on me. 1992.
19, that's not that bad, though.
Not that bad.
I was only 6 years old. That's great.
Well, I was only 6 when I became Miss Rhode Island. I'm only kidding.
Well, did you know about me?
Oh, come on, what
I
don't
was
we know
the
about you?
first Puerto Rican that ever held a tax office. I was the first tax collector
The first
Latino.
Hispanic tax collector
Yeah.
in Rhode Island.
in Rhode Island.
Little old Rhode Island had a lot of firsts. but
1994.
1994. Guys, let's continue on with our
And
next
you?
segment. Wait,
I
you know,
have
that's good.
something to
You have
share
something?
too. I
Go ahead,
do.
go ahead.
Gosh, I was
I
going to
am
skip
the
on
first
her.
Latina Hispanic on the Henry County Bar
The very
Association.
first?
That is awesome.
I am the vice president. That is
Ooh,
correct.
Wow.
When you go,
Wow, you
You see?
kicked both our butts.
That's
with
awesome.
That
That's
one.
it.
Yeah.
I give up.
Awesome. See that? We'd like to know. Ooh, wow.
We'll see next week. I'll come up with something better than that.
I know, right? Now who can top that? Not me. Guys, we got some sazon con flavor coming up. We're going to be talking about coffee, how important coffee is to our Hispanic community. We want to talk about that because, you know, we're actually drinking coffee right now.
Let me say something though. My grandfather would get out of bed, and if he didn't have coffee, that's it.
Right?
The day would
That's
stop.
right.
Wow.
Until he has his first cup of coffee, and then if you're a smoker, it was coffee
All
and
the time.
and a cigarette.
That's right.
My father drank coffee all day. He was a truck driver, so coffee, the
Oh my
whole
God,
container with the coffee
I
that
would
he would
definitely-
take with him on the road. He was a coffee drinker.
Did you know that coffee is something that is I was given coffee as a child.
Realize this though.
Coffee, I'm saying coffee because
No,
I'm from
the
Rhode
coffee.
Island. It's coffee. I was given coffee as a child.
Yes.
Cuando estaba pequeña, mi mamá me
En
daba
la
una
leche,
taza-
café
that
con
was
leche.
breakfast. Eso fue mi desayuno.
Café
Me
con
daban
leche,
mi
galleta
café
con
con
leche.
leche,
Puerto
no, y
Rico.
mi pan con mantequilla.
Pan con
con
mantequilla.
Yes.
Tostadas, we called it in Miami.
Si supieran que hay gente
Sí.
que viven tomando eso. O sea, mi hermana.
Sí.
Café, pan y mantequilla. That's it. Y
That's
esa
it.
era-
That's a
es todo el día.
breakfast.
That's
Breakfast,
breakfast.
lunch,
That
and
was
dinner.
Breakfast, lunch,
And
and
you know
dinner.
what? The American culture is like you're giving coffee to that child. It's
Yeah.
almost like you're giving that child the alcohol. Like, no, it's just coffee, and
tequila.
it's normal for the Hispanic community
Spike
to
it
give
up a little
coffee to the kids.
Honey.
No wonder we were hyper kids. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Well, did you know that the Colombians, actually people think that Colombians, since Colombian coffee is so, popular. Like
Right.
you go to the store and it's like Colombian brand, Colombian this, that, or the other.
Right.
they actually don't drink as much coffee as people think.
Are you kidding
They
me?
prefer to grow the coffee to sell, and they drink mate, which for me, mate is like.
Did you know that?
No,
But you were saying that you're not a coffee fan?
I'm not a big coffee fan, and
Really?
you would think that attorneys love coffee.
I
I'm
would
not a
think
big
that.
coffee
You of all
fan.
people
So what do you
I
do?
know how to make a
No,
colada
what?
because
See,
my
that's why you
dad
don't
used
have
to
a
make
coffee.
sure. My dad used to make me make his coladas, but I'm not a big coffee drinker.
What do you drink instead?
Water.
And tequila, guys. Himador, like the big bottle.
No, man.
Patron.
He's always trying to
Patron.
Oh, she didn't say that. She didn't say that.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. The coffee is awesome, and I think that Hispanic culture is very surrounded by that type of drink. Is coffee.
Yes.
Coffee is very important when it comes to your guests. When you have people come over, and after a meal, they have a cup of coffee. You know, it's something that brings. It's almost like dessert. It's almost like a dessert.
Yes, it's actually como un postre.
Como un postre.
Oh. After dinner, seriously.
After dinner. Yes, it definitely.
Or con mucha azúcar.
But you know
yes.
what? It's a good culture, and I think it's something lost. I love it. You know what? They came up with coffee milk in Rhode Island. I don't know if there's other states that have coffee milk.
What is that exactly?
It's milk. It's you know those milk cartons that they give for the kids at school.
Oh, like a flavor.
It's coffee flavored milk.
Oh, okay.
You know they have white milk, chocolate milk, and coffee flavored milk.
Wow.
Yes.
At
in
the
Rhode
schools?
Island. At the schools. Believe it or not.
School
believe it or
level,
not.
go figure that out.
That's right.
Why am I kids hyper?
I know, what my kids have because we're having coffee. But coffee is very important to the Hispanic community. Guys, we've had an awesome segment, and thank you so much for telling us your story today.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time today. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you, Maritza. Oh my goodness, I hope that we have inspired you today. Thank you for watching our show, everyone.
Guys, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, AHTJ, The Journey.
Thank you, George. And we'd also like to invite our local businesses that care about the Hispanic community. Please contact us on this platform. Let us know your story. We'd love to hear your journey. Please contact us. I'm Yvette Hernandez.
I'm Jorge Gonzalez.
Hasta la vista.